What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Connor with Shopscape Lawn and Landscape. Hey, I know this guy right here. He's got an American flag on his trailer. Cool guy. Cuts like 100 lawns a week. Anyway, just giving you guys a quick update on what we're doing for marketing this time of year. I believe it is August 27th. And we've got about, technically, I believe, about a month left of summer, and we're going to be putting out some postcards here shortly, looking to continue to pick up lawns to grow into next season. I currently have a guy that is very interested in running a lawn crew for me, so he's been doing a phenomenal job. He's very personable with the customers. He does quality work. He doesn't really have any experience cutting grass. He was great on the landscape job. I was able to leave him there, and he was working very hard and doing a good job, so I'm very happy about that. I have high hopes for this guy, so I'm looking to put him in that foreman role. So I'm going to run his insurance driver's license through my insurance company and see if it makes any changes to the rate. Hopefully it'll bring it down a little bit. And yeah, so I'm going to be adding him to that here shortly, or at least that's the idea. And then he can drive the truck and I can just cut on the mower while he learns to weed whip, which he's already started yesterday. He's been doing a good job. It usually takes at least a couple of weeks for guys to get more comfortable weed whacking and start to know how far out they got to trim for the mower and all that good stuff. So I don't have much time here because I'm going to have him head over to a job site here shortly. I've got some prior obligations I have to make it to this morning, and I've got a window of time, and I figured instead of working with him on this weeding job, I am going to get some more estimates out and finalize this contract for that $9,500 job I was talking about. I sent it over. We just got to make a few small tweaks. The customer wanted some rocks put in the backyard instead of being hauled away, so I'm gonna have to make those tweaks. I gotta look at my pictures of the property and see how big the rocks are, because I believe it's gonna be kind of a pain to get them into the backyard, just because I'm gonna be renting a machine. I'm gonna have to ask how big the gate is back there and how that's gonna work. And hopefully we can just drop them off right near the back, because I know they don't want me to necessarily line them up back there. They just want to keep the rocks. So I'm going to have to lay out plywood, though, to get them back there. And maybe we could do it with wheelbarrows, but I'm going to have to add that to the quote. So I'd love to just keep the price the same, but it already did come down from using a different type of decorative stone. But anyway, back to the marketing. I'm just continuing to get estimates out for landscape projects. Mostly smaller stuff at this time, around, $1,000, give or take. And of course, I'd like to land some bigger jobs, but we don't necessarily have the marketing materials made up for that. It's more maintenance based, and I'd like to continue to grow the maintenance just so we can kind of get a head start on next year. I just got a text from my employee, so I'm going to give you guys another 40 seconds here. Just giving you an update. Very blessed. We should do around, and don't quote me on this, but just summer season and spring, we should do around, because our snow was all prepay last year, so we should do around 175,000. We've broke 100 grand by quite a bit at this point, and I'm hoping to get to that 175,000 mark, and then ideally sell another 10, 15, 20, 25 in commercial snow removal. I do have quite a few bids out on HOAs. That's another thing I got to do. I got to get a bid out to a larger HOA, and we're going to be putting out some postcards. So yeah, I am very optimistic about things. I also have one of the kids that used to work for me who's my age. He is going to, he's working a part-time job where he's looking to become a personal trainer, and I'm going to be utilizing him for if we get behind, and then also if, you know, something happens with the current employee, I'll have a backup until I can fill in with a new employee, or maybe he'll want to come work full-time next year. I'm not sure, but anyway, in the spring, we had 2 guys, and we definitely needed every bit of them. We probably needed 3 guys last spring, so just with all the landscape maintenance we do. So I'm looking to grow the mowing, get that solid, and get a crew together for that, and kind of grow it into 2 guys next year. And then also take care of the landscape maintenance. Ideally, I'd be able to bring someone in the spring and get them trained up to where they could handle it. It's a little bit easier to do the landscape maintenance. I'm very detail oriented on that because our pricing is not cheap. We are probably one of the higher priced landscapers, and with that, we want to do the best work out of anyone. And that includes, you know, when we pull all the weeds, pulling them by the root, putting down preen, putting down the correct amount of mulch. And obviously, you know, we're willing to, you know, if the customer wants to go thinner on the mulch or whatever, we're totally willing to do that. But just doing everything properly and continuing to work on the bid process and dial things in, because a lot of times weeding takes longer than expected, and I've done a ton of weeding over the years. It's just tracking that a little more so I can get the numbers dialed in. And yeah, so anyway, that's what I got going on. Looking forward to next season already. Shouldn't have any trouble getting through the winter, even if we weren't doing snow removal, but I'd really like to do that. I'd like to get more commercial work and HOA type work. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to a successful end of the season and a successful next year, and getting that all dialed in so we can make a reasonable goal. Likely, don't quote me on this at all, but likely at least to add another 100,000, possibly double, or get up to that 350 mark, especially with snow removal, as I'm sure we'll be able to double that because we'll be pretty small for snow removal this year. I just want to get the right commercial lots in a very tight area. I'm not trying to drive across even my city here, Commerce. I'm not trying to drive across the city. I'm trying to literally work within a mile radius. Because there are quite a few commercial properties and HOAs here. So obviously I'm not going to land anywhere near all of them. I just want to land some, have a successful winter, get all the work done, do a phenomenal job, and then from there we can continue to get referrals and market to those close by commercial lots. So anyway, I got to text my employee. I hope you guys appreciate this video, and you guys have a blessed day. And if you guys have any questions or ideas that, I guess, things you'd like to see for videos, I know you guys seem to like that vlog. That's one of my most viewed videos there. So it's just pretty tough for me to get mowing footage right now. But I definitely want to continue to do that. Maybe I can make a bit shorter of a video. And yeah, so anyway, you guys have a blessed day. Take care. And you can't handle the tooth.